welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. And we're back to playing Alien tonight, and it's very quiet before we started up, which I'm interpreting as no one's having fun. And so this is going to be the last session of Alien. And then we'll pick up something new in a couple weeks.
Very overworked. I'm sorry.
We'll see what that's going to be. So
I'm just ready to face our doom.
Look, the only person who's in trouble here is Chuck. Everybody else is fine.
Oh.
Everybody else is fine. And Chuck's smiling.
Like
Chuck's
so
smiling.
many things. He has so many things on his token.
But Skeeter, we determined, has all of the Napralave. So just like
great.
Pew 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 pew.
I cannot wait for Jeremy to accidentally set his brother on fire and kill him on an icy moon. Somehow he dies to fire. Accidentally.
You gotta go. Going away no one expects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
We want to be ironic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If only you guys are outside, you could roll around in the snow and you could put the fire out.
Yeah.
If only you guys had a cutting torch, you'd be able to very easily have gotten through this door without all this other stuff.
So much mileage out of that joke. So
it's not a joke.
Mileage.
It's a statement of fact. It is literally a statement.
That too.
Just how it is.
That too.
Anyhow, but yeah, we're back, and we are in a little bit of a pickle. We're gonna start up today's session in initiative. I haven't drawn the initiative yet because I didn't want to be accused of cheating, because that's what Melissa constantly accuses me of. So we're gonna draw in a second, but we'll do a summary first, and then we'll get going. So. Last time around, you discovered that the shuttle. So we're inside this ancient alien, structure of some kind, and you discovered that whatever this shuttle launch tube was has frozen over. So you reluctantly began exploring. You were using a lot of the pup data that Skeeter was able to get from a previous member of the expedition, one of the advanced teams. You found a chamber with a tiered floor and a series of these unpowered devices and panels. Every now and then you see some residual power, but you can definitely tell that the whole facility doesn't seem to be isn't on full power. Michelle, at one point you found a small vent that was very high up in the walls of that room, and you crawled through it, and you found this deep vertical chute. It went up, it went down. You couldn't really see what the hell was going on. And then you eventually started crawling back, but you experienced some kind of strange ghostly holographic projection of a giant humanoid crawling through the vents with you that scared you a little bit. Scooter, in the same room where we're at now, which we'll return to in a minute. Scooter, you found this frozen over set of double doors. You also found this little motion sensing mechanism that you don't think is actually working. And then the crew, you decided to pass through a hall. You found this vertical lift that suggested maybe further descent into the facility, and that was likely the route that the pup drone took when it was mapping out some of these large chambers. And then in the next chamber over, you found what looked to be some kind of testing facility where there were dozens of the moon's fauna and flora that had been kept inside these observation tanks, some of which were intact, some of which were broken. Michelle triggered an expulsion of spores, I think it was, that made her kind of queasy, but Krish and Jack were able to pull her away. Scooter and Skeeter, you just were searching for exits, and you found what looked like and smelled like a refuse chute for this biological lab. And then with no obvious exit presenting itself, and after Michelle, I think, had collected a few tablets from some nearby shelves, you all returned to that frozen over set of doors in the chamber over, and that's when you started hacking away. And didn't have your cutting torch. And then at the very end, as you were all hacking away and kicking it, with the exception of Skeeter, everybody else, Skeeter was the only one who was not hacking away at this, because he said, I'm going to let you guys handle it. And he stepped away. I listened back. A thick sliver of ice animated and wrapped around Scooter's neck. So we're going to pick up there. A couple notes. So Scooter, you're panicked. Your panic roll was a scream. So a couple things are going to happen right now. First, you lose your next slow action, because that's the nature of that particular one that you drew. You were pulled prone and against the wall. And then everybody else who is close enough to hear it, which is all of you, You all have to make an immediate panic roll as well. As you see Scooter, suddenly his neck is wrapped around with this piece of animated ice. So all of you go ahead and give that roll. Best way to start a combat. Everyone do panic.
Oh dear.
It's the best.
Go.
Oh no, I am trembling.
Okay.
All skill rolls using agility suffer a -2 modification until panic stops. That is a great thing for the start of a combat.
Well, there are worse things, and Krish and Skeeter explored those worse things for us. Jack explored the better things. Jack's keeping it together. True leader.
Barely.
And then Skeeter and Krish froze. So you basically lost your next slow action. So Scooter, Krish, and Skeeter will be missing your slow action in this first round of combat. You still have your fast action, but you don't have your slow action. Okay. So that's one note. Second, the next note is that all of you are hacking with the exception of Skeeter. So no one would have a gun out necessarily. So remember that you have to draw it. And if you have your PDFs open, you can go ahead to page 88. It has a list of actions. And then in case it comes up, because this is something I always forget, you can help people in combat. And this is sort of out of turn, but it does mean you forfeit that version of the action. So whatever you're doing. So if you would decide that you want to do that at some point, we'll let you know. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and roll some initiative, and we're going to see how this goes as you guys are losing to an ice cube. So let's go.
And by the way,
when you put it like that,
because two people
tons of games
froze, we each get an additional 2 stress. So also that.
Stress. It's good.
Listen, more stress is more dice. So I don't see how that's a bad thing. All right, so we rolled initiative. And it makes perfect sense. Jack, you're keeping it together. Jack, you see the ice wrap itself kind of around the neck and upper torso of Scooter and has dragged him down to the ground and against the wall. Everyone's freaking out. You're keeping it together. Jack, you get the first action in this round. What do you want to do?
Well, as of this moment, I'd like to use an audience point to reduce the stress.
That's fine.
And
go right
then,
ahead. That's our little homebrew.
Yeah. Then I would like to approach Scooter and try and help him escape from this ice, however he chooses to do so, to assist.
Okay.
So I would assume fast action, move towards him, slow action, forfeit.
Yes. Now he is technically grappled right now. So grappling basically means is that the only thing Scooter can do on his turn is attempt to break free, which is a slow action. But because he rolled the panic that he did, he actually won't even be able to take a slow action. So he's going to be stuck in this grapple for one. Yeah. So I'm only saying that because I don't. If there's something else you could think of that you might want to do, you should do that.
Yeah. Then in that case, I would take the butt of the tranquilizer gun I've got and start hitting the ice to try and make it ruin its structural integrity to make it easier to break free from, because I'm still thinking this is ice even though it's moving.
Okay. I like it. Go ahead and roll a close combat.
All right. Close combat. That's good. This is what I'm amazing at. Oh yes, this is great. Love it.
Okay. It's successful. So we'll say you take the butt of the tranquilizer gun. You just start smashing and smashing and smashing. You're managing to keep it together. You can see that little parts of that gun are starting to fracture and come apart, but they haven't completely ripped apart. You haven't completely broken it, but it's definitely looking a little shady. And you do manage to chip away. Technically, it just does have an armor rating, so I'm going to roll it really fast. And you do see a little flake of ice come off of it, but it does not let Scooter go. Okay. All right. So that was Jack. All right. Next, it's one of its turns. So this is going to go just like most things in Alien. It has a table, so I'm just going to roll that table. Okay. This is using its glacial choke ability. So if it's already grabbing a target, it wraps around your throat. This is perfect, actually. You take 1 damage, Scooter. So you just take 1 damage. and you begin to suffocate. So what this means is that every turn as in the mechanics of the game, not turn of combat, that's round, or every strenuous activity you take, so a close combat or a mobility, like if you take that, so if you try to break free or grapple in the next round, you would have to roll stamina, and as you start, and eventually you'll accrue penalties if you're unable to pass. Okay. So it's starting to choke and squeeze.
Would it be appropriate for me to activate my resilient talent, which lets me roll a strength to see if I can negate damage?
I would say yeah, because this is just negating damage, and it's anytime you suffer damage, and so this is suffering, so this makes perfect sense. Yeah, go right ahead. Okay. Good news and bad news here, Chuck, if you would like to go through all this.
But I didn't. Why did it roll the panic, though? Is it because I'm already panicked whenever you roll one?
Yeah, so...
Because you rolled the facehugger?
Yeah, but no. I didn't push.
So when you roll one or more facehuggers on your stress dice in the skill roll, that's when you do a panic roll. So...
Oh, I'm thinking Forbidden Lands. Okay, that's my problem.
So I have it up, yeah.
Forbidden Lands happens on a push. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, here it's just first on. you have the dice, you roll a facehugger,
Okay.
And what happened, Chuck?
I go berserk. I'm so angry.
Yeah. You're starting to lose, like your oxygen's being cut off. You feel these tiny little pierce, like these little almost like hypodermic needle size punctures like in your neck as it seems to just sort of be grinding into it. And maybe it's just like a bit of panic and you're just freaking out at this point. So you must immediately attack the person or creature nearest to you, friendly or not, and you won't stop until you or the target is broken. Every friendly character who witnesses your rampage must make an immediate panic roll. You haven't rampaged yet, so we're not worrying about that panic roll just yet. And you also have a permanent trauma. So at the end of the session, you have to make an empathy roll. We'll figure that out later. Okay.
I mean, luckily, the thing closest to you is the creature, so then you automatically attack the creature.
Just thinking that.
Like silver lining, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. And plus, your resilient trait did absorb that damage, so no damage for you. But you do feel this thing, shrinking around you, and you are still going to suffocate. You are suffocating from that. Okay. Krish, and actually, what was that? A strength roll?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna say that's one of those exertion things. So your next time you do a roll, you have I think you should do a stamina roll right now. Do a stamina roll. Yeah. You're rolling so many dice. Okay, you're fine.
So many dice.
You're fine.
Not a single facehugger.
Okay. I think I have a map and stuff too for this. Okay. All right. Next up, Krish's turn. What would you like to do?
All I have is my fast action, so I'm just gonna draw my gun.
Okay. Sounds perfect. Pull the gun out. Shotgun, pistol. What do you have?
Shotgun. I dropped and lost my pistol, so all I have is Curly Ray.
Curly Ray. Okay. All right. So good. All right, Michelle, you are up. What are you doing, Michelle?
Okay, so I, with my fast action, would draw my weapon, and my slow action shoot my weapon.
Okay.
So that is going to...
yeah, because that's right. Because you just had the agility panic, so you're good. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have -2 to my agility, which is bad because range combat goes off of agility. So... that's a -2 base modifier. Let's see his roll. Oh,
you're shooting the gun into it's a very small target that's wrapped around Scooter's head. So we probably should have applied some extra penalty for that. But we'll let it go for this round as you've already rolled. What's your damage?
All right, that would have been an important thing to... Damage is 2, so I rolled 3... Or, sorry, damage is 2 and I rolled 2 successes, so that's 3.
Okay. It does technically have an armor rating, so I'm going to roll it. Okay. you are making progress. You can see ice is chipping away. You haven't fully severed it from Scooter, but you do see, like, you find a portion of where that tendril comes out from the larger trunk. You start firing away at it, and you can see it's thinning. It's definitely thinning, but it's not yet broken. Okay, excellent. And
I
then
also think that
I'm so
I
sorry. Go ahead.
I double because the character sheet already took the -2 off, but then I added a -2 off, so I technically took 4 dice off of my roll. So
which
you
is,
can
I think
consider
that
it was hard because
anyway.
I was shooting into it. So I rolled half the dice that I should have. So all that worked out in the end. Sorry,
Okay, perfect. My turn.
No, I cut you off. I had forgotten to say that I would also, if it's okay, like to use an audience try to take a stress down on my turn.
Oh, the same thing Adam did? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right. Next up, the tendril gets its second action of the round, and so it will do that. Okay. Okay, this is the weakest one of them. So it's chilling touch. It basically brushes its grappled target if it has one, or a random target in engaged or close range, causes intense cold. The effect: the target takes 1 point of stress. Go ahead and increase your stress by 1, Scooter. And then it makes an attack with 6 base dice, but it failed. It missed. So it was a complete blank. So no damage to you, but it's just the stress. As you do feel like this intense bit of cold now coursing through. Okay. All right, Scooter, it is now your turn.
Well, I've lost my slow action.
Yeah.
And since I'm grappled, the only thing I can do is try and break it. So that's the end of my turn.
Okay. So I'm looking at fast actions, if there's anything worth doing.
I looked at fast actions, but it does say that while you're grappled, the only thing you can do is try to break the grapple.
That's fair. Okay. Fair enough. I'm trying to see if there's anything like verbally you might have been able to do, but that's a slow action. Okay. All right.
You want to take some audience to help you with your stress?
I mean, they're like my babies at this point. I've got
It's gonna just rip it apart.
Oh,
Okay. Next up, Skeeter. Your brother is in a bad way. What is he doing?
I mean, nothing, because I lost my slow action. I can get close, and that's it.
Okay. You can also draw a weapon.
I don't feel comfortable. Like I joked before stream about shooting the flare gun. I don't feel comfortable shooting the flare gun at my brother.
Okay.
So
you move closer. Morgan, Dr. Morgan will go next. I mean, let's see. No one's really told her what to do, so she will.
Just all screaming with Scooter.
She will stab at the thing, I guess. Wildly, she does have a knife, so I will stab
that's
with
perfect.
a knife. She does
That's
not.
awesome.
She does not have any combat skills.
Dr. Morgan to the rescue.
So there's that problem. All right, here we go. She did roll 1 success though, which is hilarious. As
That
she
is
only has 3
hilarious.
dice, and she rolled 1 success, and she does have a knife, so she will stab away. Okay, but this thing does have technically an armor rating, so I'm going to roll it, and it does block that one this time. So it does actually block damage for once. Okay, start of the round, Jack. It's back to your turn. What would you like to do?
all right. So Jack is gonna try and help Scooter with his next action. I don't think he quite realizes just yet what Scooter's gonna do, so he's still going with his original plan, and he's gonna try and assist Scooter with whatever happens.
So you can. So basically, you can give over your slow action to effectively help him. So you help, and it sort of breaks the initiative order in some ways. But like, we'll just say you're saving that for that. But you would still have your fast action if you wanted to use that now. So there's always something you could do there.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything I could do with that fast action.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'll just do that.
Sounds good. All right, so it will again get another attack then. As it's going to roll its attack on Scooter once more. Man, I'm rolling trash. Okay, this is the bad one. So, Tendril Crush. If a tendril is grappling a target, it engulfs and crushes the target with immense force. The tendril makes an attack against the target with 8 base dice and a base damage of 2. And then, as the sickening crunch starts to be heard, all nearby allies increase stress level by 2. And make panic rolls. However, you can still defend against this. I think you could still technically defend against this. Let me make sure, like the grappling always kind of throws me. Let me make sure, because it's like a grapple attack. Like there's that one thing. Were you reading it, Chuck?
Yeah, well, there's the grapple attack, which is a fast action. But would you use that to defend?
I don't think it would make sense. Since it's a monster, I don't think it would make sense here. I think that it just does its thing. I'll
just fall back on my Reliant and hopefully not die.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll your Reliant. That makes sense. Let's just do that.
Drop the damage by 2.
You take 1 point of damage. I only rolled 1 success on the attack plus the 2 damage. So you would reduce damage. Actually, no, I think you would reduce successes.
It's
damage. I always get them confused.
For every success, you reduce 1 point of damage.
Okay, so you take 1 point.
Okay.
Okay.
And that
1 point.
increases my choking level too?
Yeah, so effectively you have to roll a stamina test again, but this time at -1 because you exerted an action.
Yeah.
Is basically where you're at. You were rolling so many dice, I don't see you not passing. Okay, so yeah, you're good. You're still managing to get some air in. Yeah. And you're panicking and freaking out. You take 1 point of damage. Everyone hears this horrific, sickening crunch as you just watch as like his neck just and his face is turning blue. He's barely able to breathe. Everyone go ahead and increase your stress and then make panic rolls.
Oh, good gosh.
All right.
And you're still berserked.
I am. Do I do that as well or no?
Yeah. Yeah. It's allies. It's only allies. So I think you're okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Nearby allies. You're good. Don't forget, by the way, panic. Don't forget that with panic, one of the ways to stop panic is literally to take the slow action, stop panic. It's a command test. And it's so the people who are running to seek cover, the people who are who are freezing, you can roll panic. You can roll stop panic, and that would give them their actions back. So there's a mechanic in game for it. All right. That's its turn. Krish, you're up.
I am screaming my fucking head off.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and get this thing off of Chuck, of the Scooter, sorry.
Okay.
And can I use my gun to do it? Because I'm going to try and lever it off because I would like to avoid touching it if I can.
Normally you would be able to, but you are screaming, which means you actually lose your slow action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the sound of it trying to pop Scooter's head off, effectively. You could. Trying to see what you could potentially do.
Can I just aim at the thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And then carry it over to next round. As long as you don't, as long as you don't move, your aim doesn't get broken.
Yeah. So that makes sense. I don't think I'd want to get closer. So.
Okay. All right, Michelle, your turn.
Yeah, so I so when I rolled panic, I dropped an item and I was holding my gun. So I dropped my gun. So I'm going to fast action, pick up my gun, and slow action shoot.
Amazing.
Okay, do it.
I am also because of the exponential nature of picking up stress that I've been doing, I am going to thanks to the support of our audience, I am going to try to get rid of some stress. And then try shooting again. I don't.
Okay.
Hold on. I don't. Screw that.
Unfortunately, you missed.
I don't actually think that took my agility -2 off. But it doesn't matter because I didn't roll any successes and I just rolled 2 more panic daggers. So I pick up my gun. I attempt to shoot my gun and I freeze.
Okay. So you start firing, and then like maybe it's this thing just sort of moves Scooter around a little bit, and in doing so, like you have to kind of pause before like you're worried about maybe attacking him. Okay. This thing gets to go again.
Everything's fine.
Everything's gonna be great.
We're never gonna help you. We're just gonna
Honestly,
constantly panic.
It's the perfect person for this to happen to because he's got that resilient trait, to be honest. Okay, so he's making an attack. This is one of his icy grasps. So you can roll. You're going to take 10. You can roll your resilient again. Yeah, you can roll a resilient again. It's doing 2 damage to you currently. If you wanted to roll your resilience again.
I am now catatonic.
Okay. So the thing is, but just like you've been violently thrashing around as this thing is wrapped around your neck to the point where now you're just like the anger has overtaken and like you're now catatonic and you are just almost kind of giving over. But you did roll 2 successes, which means you didn't take any damage at least. So good news, bad news situation.
Yeah. Wow. And I passed my choking roll.
Okay. Good to go.
Yay.
I got more catatonic.
Okay. All right.
So one of us would just have to do and that would
I'm sorry?
So all that would do is get rid of stress by 1 level, right?
What are you talking about?
So doing like a counselor or one of those kinds of things, like
there is a slow action called Stop Panic. You roll a command test and it stops a panicking character. And so that's one of the slow actions. You just have to have somebody who has a slow action. Right now we've kind of gotten lucky with some of the screams and whatnot. Okay. Scooter, you're catatonic, so we're going to say your turn goes by, and we come to Skeeter.
Taking a nap.
I have to spend my turn running away as far as possible. So that's what I do.
All right. Go ahead and move your token wherever you see fit. Morgan's next. Let me see if she's got any command. She has 1 point in command. She could, if you want her to, roll a command to try to.
I feel like she would be like,
someone.
I'm a freaking doctor. I am not supposed to. What if you get your shit together? This is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. She'll yell at, because they've had a history. She'll get in Krish's face and she'll say, "Now you freeze," and then she will try to like get your shit together. All right, so she has 1 point in command and 3 in empathy. So here we go. She got a success. There we go.
Yay!
Okay, so Krish, you can go ahead and remove your panic as you now have your.
Wait, how do I remove panic? I can.
On your character sheet,
on the panic.
Yeah, there's like the red conditions on the left side of the.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Top of the round, Jack. It comes back to you. I see you're panicking. Right. What was your panic condition?
It was freeze. So would that mean that I lost my ability to help him, or should it take effect now? To where
I would say because you were specifically using it outside of order, and you're going to use it on his turn. So I would say that was lost, and so you can go ahead and take your normal action. I would say your freeze. Since you never used your slow action last turn and you had dedicated it to Scooter, we'll say it was lost. So you can go ahead and take your turn.
All right. So I'm going to briefly look at my Employee Award of the Year award and reduce my stress by 1. And then I'm just going to say, fuck it. And I'm going to hope that my environmental suit is good enough. And I'm going to try and just take this piece of ice off of his neck.
Okay.
And
Close combat.
all right. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh,
You
Good
succeeded.
news. You have to use your next action to move away. Not this one though. So I think we actually
Okay.
finish your action.
no panic.
Well, first I'm going to let's resolve your attack,
Okay.
because you did attack it. Let me roll its armor, because you might take it out, and you do in fact. So what does it look like as you break this thing free from
Nice.
Scooter?
Is it okay if I make my stress roll first and then describe it?
You already did make your stress roll. The system
Oh.
automatically did it for you.
Oh, I
That's
see. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so when people are gone, not as many people are noticing. They're worrying about their own thing, and I look at Scooter, thinking he can hear me, but not sure, and I say, "Breathe out," and then I reach my fingers in where his neck was taking up space, and I grab. And I just start wrenching around to pull it off, and it snaps.
Yeah, it does. And as that snaps, you watch as the larger cable from which it had been like kind of a satellite from. You remember I described it like a Warner Bros. Shotgun exploding at the end. You can see that starts to like fold back up, and almost like a snake, or almost, if you recall, like the Abyss, where it just sort of suddenly disappears back, and you just watch this cable move until it disappears all the way up into the darkness of the city. Remember, it has like those ridiculously high ceilings, and you kind of lose track of that larger cable at some point. But Scooter's free. You hear a distant Skeeter running. You see Michelle, and is kind of panicking as well. Everyone's kind of freaking out, but you think the immediate danger is over.
At that point, can I try and say something to people, or should I?
I'm fine with breaking initiative right now.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's gone. It's gone. Everyone,
I'm
it's
still taking
okay.
that relief.
Okay.
As I'm
Over
going
in the
to,
corner, Skeeter's
For-
shooting up.
for the first time, actually try and take control.
Okay.
And bring everybody together.
Give a command test.
Come on, boss.
Nice. Oh no.
Well, you say things. It's just in a higher volume than you planned.
So,
Oh god.
so what does it sound like as you scream at everybody at the top of your lungs with what you want them to do?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Come back. Come back.
So Michelle took her panic roll, and she is now seeking cover.
Okay. So as we'll sort of like narratively resolve this a bit, and we'll say that I think around. So Skeeter runs off, and he is like injecting his nap relief in the corner, in the dark, by the way. As Skeeter's off in the dark by himself. Taking
Yeah, that's
drugs.
part of why he's doing it. He had to run away. He realizes he's alone in the dark. At the very least, he's gonna make himself feel better.
Okay. But eventually you
Better.
do feel better, and you can start coming back if you wanted.
Yeah, okay.
And you hear the sounds of Jack just freaking the F out. And when you come back, you see that there's a handful of people now who are kind of hiding behind some of these kind of stationary panels. And so you can see like there's Michelle hiding behind one of them. You can see like maybe even Dr. Morgan is a little panicked by Jack's outburst. And you see there's Scooter on the ground. And he does seem to be, you see his chest moving up and down, Skeeter, when you come back. But he is like his miles away.
I think it's really funny how I don't start freaking out until it's gone.
Yeah.
The reality sets in.
Hey, man. Hey.
Hey,
Oh, just starts poking at his brother.
Yeah, I was looking up to see if there's a specific role to get you out of catatonic.
Would
Trying
it
to
just
remember.
be
I thought it was
Same thing as ending any other panic.
That makes sense to me. If someone wants to, so Skeeter, if you wanted to try as you come up to your brother and see if he's there, if you wanted to try to roll a command test to break him out of it.
What about that counselor thing? Does that work?
That's not for
Counselor's
stopping
not
panic.
for panic. Counselor is for one level of stress and then like an additional one.
Quick question.
Got it.
When does panic disappear? Because is
So
it when the source goes away, or am I thinking a different rule system?
Isn't
So
it like 10
panic-
minutes in a safe location or something?
There's a couple different ways that panic can go away. One of them is obviously using the action, but then there's other things that you can do, like if it's just a turn, which is like 15 minutes or 10 minutes in this game, something like that, or you're broken. I think those are the three.
Oh, okay. So yeah, not gone. Good.
Yeah, you're just hiding somewhere in the dark right now, Jack.
Yeah.
I mean, get up, or I'm gonna give you a wet willy. Might take your ear off.
Okay.
You
And
let my
so-
goddamn ear out of this.
One thing you notice, the two of you, so Skeeter and Scooter, as you kind of peel the remnants of whatever bits of the ice are gone, you can see that not only is there like terrible freezer burn effectively on his skin and around his neck, but you see, Skeeter, that there are these tiny little holes, like puncture holes, here and there. Nothing's like bleeding out of there, but you can see there's probably about 4 or 5 of them just across the neck.
Man, you look terrible.
I
Kind of like
feel
when you went
terrible.
through that phase with that one goth girl. You was getting
Oh
little
my
funny with
gosh.
things.
Them clothespins are everywhere. They hurt something fierce.
Oh man, looked like you tried to pull a Carradine.
Yeah. I feel terrible. Oh,
So-
The good news is you look the match of it.
yeah. I can uncheck panic now.
Yes, you can uncheck panic. You guys look around and you can see that even though the thing is dead, like in various nooks and crannies of this area, you can see that like Jack is kind of sort of freaking out in the kind of the corner. You can see Michelle was like kind of ducking down beneath one of these consoles. Same with the doc. What's Krish doing?
Krish had dropped her gun
Mhm.
and went to pick it up and is probably like checking it for dents and that kind of thing.
Okay, just kind of fiddling with it, like this
Yeah.
muscle memory to try to get the mind right again. Okay.
Pretty much.
I feel like if at some point Skeeter came and got Michelle, like once she pokes her head out from kind of behind whatever she was, she would kind of go over to Scooter and like see if there's any like medical aid that she can apply to him.
Go ahead and go ahead. Go ahead and roll medical aid. Do you have any kind of do you have any kind of like med kits or scanning devices or anything like that?
I have a personal med kit.
Okay. Gotcha. So you should get your plus. Make sure you get your item bonus for that. So +2.
Oh, I don't think I did. 3 successes, and I'm panicking again.
Oh no.
Yeah. What are
So
you doing this
it
time?
doesn't say that
Hands
I
are trembling?
fail.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, you
it doesn't say that I fail, so I'm able to kind of look him over.
Maybe what's sort of causing you some concern as you're addressing some of the puncture wounds and looking at the burn on his neck is those very holes that Skeeter points out. And as you're cleaning them up, you realize like something is inside. Like there's like a little bit of substance that you have to kind of clean out of the wound. I mean, it strikes you as similar to like a snake bite and like the venom, like a little bit of residue of venom or something like that. Or like when a bee bites you, like sometimes, or like stings you, there could be a stinger left over. It has that kind of vibe to it. You would guess it's possible this thing injected Scooter with something.
Oh my word! This is a bit unexpected. It was somehow this ice tentacle thing has not only punctured your skin but also inserted something into these little holes that you've got there. So I'm not feeling at this particular moment. And then if you kind of look down at her hands, I'm not feeling like going to be able to do kind of the fine work with this right at this particular moment. Someone else might be able to give me a little bit of a hand to try to see what we can do to dig this out, or kind of do the little get something sticky and try to see if it'll pull out or whatnot. You want to give me a hand there, Scooter?
It's not like a snake bite, is it? Or
it could be. We don't. I have not yet.
Or it might have just laid eggs. You might start getting like little ice snakes growing in your throat now. I think I see one wriggling.
Jack,
you're gonna be a mama.
Jack says something. He says, "Take a look at the sauce." As he's holding on to the ice still. That little piece that broke off.
I've seen enough of it. I'm all right. While the doc is thinking about my neck, I'm gonna reorganize my tool belt to help out with the point of stress.
Okay. And did you suffer any damage?
I took 2 from that.
Okay. You'll get you basically, since you weren't ever broken, so you'll get that back over like the next 10 minutes or so. It'll slowly come back. And with Michelle kind of helping patch you up, we can even say it accelerates. It's just a couple minutes or so and you're back up to full. Stress is a different matter. So that's up for you guys to figure out. I'll say at this point, we'll say a turn has passed. So 10 minutes or so has passed. So anybody who still has a panic condition can go ahead and remove it. And I'll say that the one good thing is, like, when you were hacking away at this thing and this thing ripped away from the wall, it did in fact leave the door open. Between you hacking and then this cable of ice like ripping away from it, you do see it's made that door accessible. But you guys can tell me what it is you want to do next, or what does it look like? What is everyone doing?
Just so now that Geralt's panic is over, he's gonna go up to our fauna expert and say, "Is this fauna or is it strictly technology? Could you analyze this?"
Sure. So she comes out from underneath where she was hiding with Michelle, because like she tried to get Krish into the fight, and then you flipped the fuck out, and so she got a little nervous of you. But she can do an analysis test. So basically, for those who are unfamiliar with analysis, she rolls a observation test. However, if she fails this is one of those things that could potentially cause like stress and panic and stuff, because if it's an alien thing. So just wait. She's good at this though. This is her jam, so it's okay. But she'll roll it as she tries to make an analysis of this weird freaking ice.
You got this, Doc.
And if she's successful, it would actually reduce the stress level of everyone else in the area. But a failed will increase.
No pressure, Dr. Morgan.
Okay. So she only rolled 1. She doesn't get the push, but she only rolled 1 success. So she can't answer a bunch of questions about it. But when you show that little piece that you managed to capture, she grabs one of her sampling jars and she drops it in, and she's like, "I'll be very curious to see once I get this under proper equipment, but the way it moved, fauna doesn't really move. Well, flora doesn't really move that way. I would imagine it's some sort of, maybe an animal. I don't see anything in here. And it's true, Jack, when you look at it, there's no visible machinery in it. Like, it just generally looks like this kind of frosted chunk of ice. But
I'm telling you, just like that, they're like them space turtles. They was basically made up of ice.
What
they were, weren't they?
What if it's some sort of space jellyfish, and because it's so cold, that's why it's icy?
Or maybe it's like super evolved little tiny things, and it's actually like a whole colony of things all working together.
Like snowflakes gone wrong.
She looks at Skeeter. That is a surprisingly astute hypothesis, Skeeter.
Hey, man, broken clock, twice a day.
And so her working theory is that it's alive and not technological, but it still defies reason to some degree. It's got to be something on the microscopic level, and she doesn't have that equipment here.
All right. Well, hey, this
reduce
is
your
cool.
panic, or reduce your stress by 1 since she passed. Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah. This is cool and all, but that door's open.
Mm-hmm.
And I would still like to make like a tree and get out of here.
Agreed.
I'm glad to see that you are doing much better.
Did we?
Yeah, I do better when things made of ice don't choke me.
Did we at one point have some sort of like crowbar or some sort of rigid object? Or are we out of that too?
Yep.
What does yes mean?
We're out of it.
Okay. Well, I figured I would ask.
Yeah.
But the door is open though, so we don't need.
I was
Right.
thinking of future scenarios in case there's more ice.
Let's, as we're moving through, we'll look for like a pipe or a pole.
Yeah.
Used for hitting.
Right. This has suffered some damage as I'm holding up the gun. It might still work, but I would hate to try and use it again in that manner.
I'll tell you what, as soon as we get somewhere safe, I'll take a look, see if I can sort it out. But it's dark and scary here, so I don't think it's the right place.
If we get to the point we are super duper desperate and desperate enough that we're willing to risk having stuff fall on our heads, I do have one blast charge that we could use on them bay doors. But, given the nature of like what we're in, I don't want to do that unless that's like a last option.
I would agree.
Are we all looking well enough to go through that door and see what else
good.
we can see?
Right as rain.
Definitely my gun out at this point. Chris is super on edge, and I'm very much just kind of wordlessly waiting for everyone to get ready to go.
One thing to remind you guys about stress. So stress is you're not gonna just like camping in this room isn't gonna release stress. So stress, you have to be in a well-secured area, like a safe, well-secured area, which is so it means you have to like kind of find a place somewhere in this thing and like hunker down, and then every turn you can reduce the stress. So that's another way of like resting. Your health will come back no matter what, like that's fine. But like the stress, if you wanted to find other ways to bring it down, if you're running out of nap relief, so that's another option. Okay, so you do push these doors open and see what's inside.
Yep.
Yes.
Gonna be so disappointed. Who goes first?
Chris.
Okay, Chris, you push the door open, and it opens. It's heavy and it screeches, and you really have to put your shoulder and your weight into it, but it does creak open. And as you shine your light in, because you're one of our 2 light people, you shine the light in, and it's a fairly compact room. Like, this doesn't look like a tunnel. This doesn't look like it's connecting one place to another. It doesn't look like a hall. Instead, it just looks like an anteroom, an antechamber that connects to this larger room that you've been in. But this one's fairly compact, and you can see that there's all sorts of these different equipment that appears to be scattered all over the ceiling and the upper walls. You can see some of it looks damaged, some of it looks relatively intact. You can see that in the center of the room, there is a slightly raised octagonal platform that has like whatever material is used to create it looks a little different from the rest of the floor. So it has like a slightly different look to it. There's not as much ice in here. Like you don't see as much frost covering in here. And occasionally, like some of the other rooms you've seen, you do see this little thread of like energy pulsing here and there. Like just like it's not quite fully connected. But as you come in, you just watch that little floor kind of light up briefly. You see one of these devices that it's attached to the high ceiling, and it almost kind of flickers on briefly, like it's like a zoetrope in a way. And you see in the middle of the room, on that little platform, there's two of those figures that Michelle saw. They are flickering, holographic, very easily recognizable as holographic. And like they're coming in and out. You can see like there's different lines and stuff that are missing, like in that zoetrope kind of way. And they're engaging, they're talking to one another. Each of them are dressed in some kind of some kind of exosuit, so to speak. And then like they're like kind of pointing up at one of these devices, and they kind of point down, and you get this sense that they're kind of almost like they're encompassed within something, and they're pointing and moving things around in almost a three-dimensional space. And then it flickers off.
I'm the only one who saw that, or did everybody else?
Anybody who was looking over her shoulder could have seen it.
Yeah, for sure.
I did see it.
What are they looking at?
Those are the things that I saw earlier. They didn't hurt me at all. They were just there. They went right through me. But I would definitely want to see if we can see what they were looking at, what they were doing.
So, looking up in the direction they did, Jeff, is there anything up there?
Ask again. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Looking up at the direction they did, is there anything up there?
There's machines. Like there's machines you can see that almost looks like projectors. Like they're intended to project something. Is probably what you would glean. And anybody who wants to roll or like a contact maybe, or even a heavy machine. No, I think contact makes more sense. Anybody wants to roll contact?
All right.
Would you? Oh.
Jack with goddamn Jeremy. I'm sorry, buddy.
Jeremy rules.
Oh, Jack coming in strong.
Okay.
Holy shit.
All
Okay,
right,
there you go.
boss
There you
man.
go, push. Okay.
What are you looking at over there, Skeeter? Perhaps we can work on this together.
Shit, I don't know. This thing is weird. It's like, is it squiggly line, wiggle line, or squiggle wig? I can't make it how to.
Well, thing you must ask yourself is, when you squiggle, do you wiggle, or when you wiggle, do you squiggle? And then I'll start.
I'm not answering any of your questions. I know you passed it, but for that, I'm not answering any questions about what just happened.
Cut off.
Trying to run a horror game here. Okay. So you passed your context. So basically, you can ask. So first is like you get a sense, kind of like Krish was maybe intimating, or maybe you're guessing, is that this does look like a room where those things on the ceiling are projecting various like holographic, almost three-dimensional images in some way. And so that's kind of what you're getting. I would say like you've got so many successes. I'm just going to tell you everything because there's no reason to ask questions. So
all the successes.
Yeah, I mean 5 successes is pretty nuts. So this looks like they're standing on a platform, and maybe you've seen some designs for this in some of like Seeksin or Wayland Yutani Tech or something like that, something of a similar variety. It's just sort of an immersive 3D holographic interface. So the projectors, these machines are throwing down all this different imagery on top of this platform, and these two figures are interacting with it. So like it could be, you're not sure what the image is, you're not sure exactly what they're doing with it, but you can see that it's a user. It's definitely a user interface. Each of the, you can see etched in like the bottom, in a rim around the platform, there are all these little glyphs and things that occasionally like light up, and then as it flickers away, you can tell it's just not getting enough constant power. There's just like this tiny little thread of residual power that pops things back in. But if you had a guess, it's probably some kind of archival study room, like where they're looking at data of some kind and they're doing it in a 3D sense.
Right. And so what I'm watching is like basically like footage.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like watching a video camera.
Yeah.
To see what had happened in the past.
You're seeing more than likely you're seeing a log.
Yeah.
Of something that happened. Yeah.
So this is archival in nature. Much like we would review security camera footage.
Well, the room previous had samples, so like this was possibly looking at the data.
Yes, this would be where they would conduct their research. Also, what we are able to see is because there is some form of power left. If we could restore power to this place, we could see full footage, full access. But
and we could even download the data, maybe?
I'm not sure if our technology is compatible. We'd have to check operating system versions, see if it works. That was a joke.
I'm not much for computers. I am all about the machinery of the human body.
Yes,
that is what I know.
After hearing that, you're not much for computers, and Boss Man's not much for jokes. I mean, it's fair.
Yes, but so we can maybe get it more.
We could, but we have to ask ourselves how much it's worth it to try to do this now, when we haven't figured out how to restore power to the facility, and when there are those hostile ice tentacles. What did we call it? Space? What?
I mean, space
jellyfish? Space octopus?
Space
ice.
It's dangerous, whatever it is. Is there anywhere from here that we might be able to try to improve power? Or maybe we need to find a room where we would be able to do that.
I would surmise that, from what I've seen, that we would have to find the central location where this power is and find what's either blocking the output of the power or find a way to restore the generation of the power. But as our good doctor put it, that is a hypothesis. So
while they've been talking, Chris has been kind of circling, doing a perimeter check, securing the room essentially.
Sure. It's not a very large room compared to the other rooms and chambers you've been in. This one is, kind of like a 30 by 30 by 30 cube. So like 30-foot walls, 30-foot ceiling kind of deal. And as you move around it, like there's some frosted panels and some sort of what looks like that kind of broken equipment here and there. But you can roll an observation test if you wanted to do any other kind of like poking around, but you don't see any like obvious, I would say like anything like that's on the verge of attacking you. There's not like anything really hiding in here, but you can roll.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm
just
so
pulled Jeremy.
I rolled.
Oh my gosh!
Just
How many
13
dice was that?
and
All of
successes.
them, all the dice.
Wow.
Wow.
You want to push
Jeremy,
it?
you're supposed to keep that dice lock to yourself. You're not supposed to
I don't know.
share.
Somebody invited Dan to hop into this.
Yikes!
He touched all the
I miss
digital
Dan.
dice.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
So Krish,
Yeah, no,
it all looks
I'm
good?
not gonna bother pushing, and so it's fine.
Okay.
you've got so much stress.
All right. So,
Hey, you're looking a little on edge. Hey, it's your choice.
I just
First one's free.
I don't like things always jumping out at us, and they keep jumping the fuck out at us.
So what do we see? And hopefully, even with the 0 successes, hopefully, like in terms of being able to kind of continue our exploration of this area, which direction would that be?
I mean, there's that
Actually,
elevator
does
shaft.
my quick look around point to like, are there any doors or anything in here?
you failed your roll, so you didn't notice any anything obvious I've described already.
Right.
Anything non-obvious, you didn't pick up on your sweep.
No.
And can I roll an observation? Like Krisha, maybe she's muttering to herself a lot, and so I wonder how focused she was. Like, is that metagaming too much to?
If you could sleep at night with that, go right ahead.
Oh, I can. Somebody throw it in chat.
Not if I wake you up all the time. Okay.
You remember how you did that?
Just slowly got a little light on my face right next to her where she's sleeping. Hey, remember when you did that? Yeah. Okay.
2 successes on that observation.
Michelle, you look around as well. And I will tell you that you don't find any additional doors like that. You don't see that at all. There's 2 things you find. One looks to be a kind of a hatch or a vent, but you think that goes down. Like, your guess would be that it goes underneath this platform. So you think it's probably like a utility hatch that goes underneath it, and so you can kind of mess around with it. The second thing you notice, and this catches your attention, is that you see slightly covered in some frost, like some freezer burn, not like a chunk of ice or anything like that, is what looks like a flute, a pan flute, not unlike the one that you were able to retrieve from the hut that you explored prior to coming here from one of the advanced team, Hana Al-Farsi.
So seeing that, Michelle is making a mental note of the hatch because she wants to go in that, but she will take this and she wants to see what she can, if she can just sort of like with her knuckle, she wants to just like break up the ice, but not break the flute. So kind of to dig it out.
It's not like that's what I was saying. It was just like sort of like freezer frost on it. Like you can easily swipe it away. Yeah.
Yeah, she would definitely pick that up. And because things have been so bad and she wants to try to find ways to decrease everyone's stress, she's going to try to play this thing.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Do you have in your backstory here, do you have any history with playing any kind of musical instruments?
Hell no.
So great.
She
so delightful.
Sees the benefit of, like she is all about very weird things. So I mean, like I'll make something up and I'll say that she was into some kind of like
she believes in the power of music therapy.
Yes, and but it's been more of these sort of like, like ding the triangle kind of a thing. Like that's been a little more for like breathing, pace, and those kinds of things. So like, okay. She doesn't know the importance of breathing and whatnot. So
if it's true that you do indeed. You have studied the effects of music therapy. You can take a +1 on this, but it's going to be a wits test, just a pure wits test with a +1.
I mean, she's got group psychology, so I'm going to say that maybe as part of that, she's done some like music stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm rolling
with a +1. Wits is just a stat, it's just an attribute.
All right, wits and a +1. So I got 2 successes and I start trembling. I've got a -2 to agility again.
2 successes though.
I did.
As your hand starts to tremble. No, I was just saying it out loud. Your hand starts to tremble a little bit as you take it away, but you notice as you as you play into the instrument, that there are these little tiny glyphs in the instrument that start to light up. And then as the sound begins to travel around the room, you realize the acoustics of this room are especially effective. Like there's something about the dome ceiling, the small room itself. And you all watch as some of those machines that you've seen, that you see up there, like they look like covered in frost or broken. The ones that aren't broken, you can see they suddenly thrum to life. The platform that to this point, even though it has like a different material, it lights up, and you watch as all around you, flickering into existence, in that same space where you saw those two humanoids standing, you see what looks like some kind of astronavigational kind of chart. You see planets, you see stars, and it's all kind of swirling around you. And not only that, but I'll say with your second success, Michelle, is you kind of reach out towards one, and like your finger touches one of these celestial bodies, a moon, a planet, doesn't matter. You watch as a small little drop-down menu effectively opens up in a language that you don't understand. It's more glyphs and things like that, and you can see that what looks like data. And you're not sure what it says, you don't know the language, but just touching it allows you to interact with this holographic device. You try another one, small little moon next to it, hit it again, and it pops up. And this seems to have activated this interface.
And she, like, her mind is just blown at this. Like, she was like, I'd almost imagine that, like, she had at first, when she started doing the flute, she had sort of like almost closed her eyes a bit because she just wanted to sort of like focus on her breathing and kind of help everyone. And then she like opened her eyes and she saw like everything that it was doing and started touching things. And then like that's when the panic kicked in. She was just like, oh my gosh. And then she, I imagine kind of with the tremble, almost like kind of steps back from, kind of like drops the flute, kind of away from her mouth a little bit, like not fully drops. It wasn't drop items.
Shatters on the ground to 1,000 pieces. One of them cuts you in the shin. You take a point of damage.
But just kind of pulls it away. Did everyone see that? Did everyone see all of that?
You guys can still see it.
No, I didn't see
What?
nothing.
Incredible,
What are you talking about?
Michelle.
Right? Like you could touch it and it changed the menu. Like it opened.
Chris is gonna try and touch one.
Absolutely. Any of you that try to touch any of these different planets, moons, asteroid fields, things like that, all of them pop up, and you can see some sort of data about that body. You also notice that, so those of you, if you like grab onto and then sort of shift with your hand, it actually rotates the field somewhat.
Oh, this is so cool.
That's cool. Do I see like an option for like a menu or a settings cog or?
Give me a wits test.
Yeah, hamburger Randy.
Yeah.
Hamburger menu.
Oh my God.
I got 2 successes and 4 face huggers.
Okay.
We
So-
just got out of here so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
you
an Apple product.
okay. As you're messing around, Scooter, you're like kind of hitting some of the random things, maybe like an orc cloud or something like that. You pop that, boom, pops up here and there, and you're moving things around. At something you hit, whatever body it was, as you're kind of rapidly searching, suddenly the room and the coloring of the room tilts, kind of tints a little bit red. And you feel this thrumming on the ground, like this little vibration, like you triggered some sort of emergency warning. And you can see that this small little field, like this nebula that you kind of clicked on, you can see that it's framed in this sort of reddish tint, as if there's, like, you could tell it's something dangerous or whatever, some kind of negative thing. And as you do, you can feel your hand suddenly start to shake. And this probably just kind of sets you off. This triggers you a little bit, and
Yeah.
you just kind of get out of there. You just get out of the room.
Step out of the room.
Just freaking out. And all of you see it too, because if you're all interacting with whoever's on that pad, interacting with it, like this would all happen to you too. Like you would see that light pop on and everything.
Oh,
she beat me to it.
Enthralled.
Man, okay. We have found a great many things, and I'm sure there's a lot more to study. But like, we know where the pup came in. Maybe we climb up that way, and we just, we come back better equipped.
We've got to take pictures or something. So with our PDOTs, I know there's so much here. Like, can our PDOTs like take pictures?
No, but Dr. Morgan does have a digital camera. So if you ask her to take pictures, she absolutely will. She's fascinated too, even though this isn't quite her field, but she's absolutely fascinated.
Like all of the information here, like it would take us a very long time to make sense of the language, but can you take, and then she sort of like, Michelle remembers that there was a hatch.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was so fascinated with the flute and bringing up the menu. And so she's going to safely tuck the flute away, and then she wants to reach for the hatch.
So I feel like Michelle and them and everyone is like, they're really into it because like they're incredibly smart and this is a whole lot of new knowledge. But Chris is, I feel like, almost problematically glib about a lot of shit, and like, this is just like her being a kid and having a whole bunch of new toys to play with, and she just has this weird whimsy that she like never has, and she's just completely enthralled by everything in this room.
Well, there's a lot of cool shit in here, so it kind of makes sense.
Go ahead, Jack.
Within the various corporations, colonies, etc., is there a protocol between the three ones that establishes a claim for a company?
Yes, there is. However, the moon has already been established. So there's a joint claim to the colony and like a share between Seegson, GES, and the third one, I always get it confused because it's like ICSC. So remember that your colony is essentially like this joint colony, and so anything on the moon goes to the three of you in some share. So between the three of you, there might be like a share claiming situation, but that's already established.
Okay, so there's no need to like claim this in the name of Seegson or anything like that.
I mean, the moon has been claiming it in the name of Seegson. I mean, claims only matter if people are alive, I suppose, and claims only matter if you're strong enough to keep it, so.
Right. So
I think this for us is more of the personal, like we are claiming like finding all of these things. And so anything that we have here that we can kind of, it's sort of like our.
Yeah. So the other thing is we need to let's just sort of revisit the premise of the campaign. You guys are all colonists. Like your foremost job is exploration, surveying, collection. So like this is literally what you guys are supposed to do. So, like this is, regardless of your background, your specific abilities, you're all are colonists and explorers to a various degree. So like it's like you're out here doing this because Seegson has tasked you with doing it. So like the upper echelon legal stuff is what your Seegson team will handle. Okay. You're just about exploring it and documenting it.
Right. So with that in mind, like going back and coming back with better prepared stuff because we know what to bring isn't necessarily a huge faux pas. But it's a matter of like trying to convince Michelle and perhaps even Krisha and some of the others that's like, okay, we are going to make so much money off of this. So with the things that we've discovered and we're able to bring back, am I able, because I'm a company agent, so I do this daily, am I able to come up with kind of an idea or a number of what sort of a financial reward this would be? Like what we've already discovered and are able to take back?
You probably can't count that high.
Okay.
Like this find is enormous.
Right.
Like you obviously like there's various bureaucratic shenanigans that could happen, but like this is an enormous find. Like this would put you and Seekson on the map in a way that they haven't been. Seekson's been struggling of late, so this could definitely be the thing that gets it more competitive once more with the stronger corpse.
Michelle, Krisha, Scooter. And he looks at the doctor and like nods but doesn't say anything. It's obvious that he forgot the doctor's name. And so
Morgan.
Morgan. Yeah, it's Dr. Morgan. So if we make it out alive, we will be able to retire as soon as we leave this colony. We will be able to own swaths of land. We will be rich beyond our wildest dreams if we are able to claim it.
We don't even know what all is here.
We know all we need to know.
But this, as I point to the container with the portion of the ice creature in it, that alone would be able to entirely fund your retirement account, and all of ours. In fact, this is beyond count. I cannot calculate how much we will be making if we make it back alive.
I've been ready to go for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
He says from outside.
Yeah, safe from outside. I also like to remind you all we're all salary employees, so anything we find the company already owns. So like, we will get a Christmas bonus.
Oh no, I will make sure that there is a significant bonus. Trust me, this will be very good for us if we make it out of here.
I'm gonna go check out that elevator shaft. Do y'all want to come along?
Yeah, I want to climb up and get the hell out. Like, maybe we come back with a team of folks better prepared, more lights and cutting torches and all sorts of other things and
flamethrowers.
Yeah,
well,
but you're an amazing
I've never
doctor.
heard
and
the
like,
phrase "Don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today." What kind of explorers
also,
are you? We go to the Antarctic once, and we're like, well, we stepped foot on the Antarctica, but we're just gonna leave and come back 5 years later with more people.
You know what I'd like
What
to
kind
put
of
off till
explorers
tomorrow?
are you?
the kind that brings my brother home alive and doesn't leave him near dead. Okay.
He's fine. He's all healed up.
Look at his fucking neck, man. It injected shit into him.
Krisha, you've been awfully quiet.
Like this blue one.
Yes, the blue one is
like a cat.
Isn't it fascinating?
There's
so much here.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on having an insanely large retirement account versus dying while being choked to ice?
I already said I'd go. You don't have to convince me, Jackie boy.
Okay.
Let's go. We go.
I appreciate your candor.
I don't have to like what you're saying. I agree with you.
It appears that we are all of one accord except for one.
No, we're not. But you're the boss. So get your ass up the elevator. I'm done having this conversation.
Goes down.
Would you like to repeat that?
Do I say it again? I like mine too. Yeah, I messed up.
No, I look at Michelle like, would you like to repeat that? I didn't understand it.
Let the record reflect. Some of us wanted to continue being explorers. Some of us wanted to run back home. We are not all of one accord. I know how you leader types like to say, oh, we all made a decision and we were all on the same page. We were not. But I will follow you.
Okay,
because you were the boss.
Noted. It is noted that your dissent was there.
Man, it's real stressful down here.
Yeah.
And I think some fresh air is going to do all of us a lot of good.
So much good.
My job's just to keep you all safe.
Michelle's still looking at the hatch, by the way, because her hand was on the hatch when he started talking.
There are only 2 light sources, one Scooter, one Krish. So if you're climbing underneath there, Michelle, you would need to get a light source.
Michelle looks back to Krish to see if Krish is watching her. She kind of winks.
Oh,
hatch.
we're going that way. Let's go that way. And Chris turns. Because Michelle is her buddy.
There's a hatch.
Yeah, let's go see what's down there.
Man,
Maybe it's way out.
you too, huh? And she like kicks the ice a little bit.
I'm just here to keep you all safe. Really, I have no skin in the race of what you all do.
So Michelle gets in line behind everyone else who's over at the elevator shaft.
Okay, so we go back to the elevator shaft? Okay,
Yep.
we can do that. All right, so you've been in this room before, so I won't necessarily
No, we
re-describe
went
it.
down the hatch.
I think there was some
hatch is where the poop
miscommunication.
goes.
Yeah. I felt like that. I wasn't sure what was going on either. I think so, but it looks like... Did you want to go in the hatch?
Michelle
Beneath
wanted to go in the hatch, but Michelle needs light to go in the hatch.
Chris was willing to join you with the light.
Oh, I
I
misunderstood.
thought so
Sorry.
too, but then like Michelle like snapped at you. So I'm like, did I hear
totally didn't hear what you said properly. So like
That's okay.
I turned around and you're right behind me. I'm like, oh, okay, great. She opens the door of the hatch.
that? Okay.
Sorry about that.
When you climb down, you realize it's not like another room or a way out, but it's some sort of like maintenance tunnel, like underneath whatever this platform is. And what you notice down here, that there is a decent chunk of room. There's probably about 10 feet of room as you climb down, and there's a little like a hand railing and a step or two. It's a little tough for you, but because you imagine it's designed for much taller individuals, but you can do it. It's not an issue. And down here, you can see there's all sorts of little wires and like that same kind of gelatin coating panels that you've seen elsewhere that are humming and thrumming. Like you can see they're actually functioning. This is the most amount of power that you've ever seen kind of kicked up at any point throughout the throughout your time kind of moving around the handful of chambers that you've seen. Most of the time, everything's kind of either been on some kind of standby mode, or it's been hasn't had power, nothing like that. And so this is the first time you've actually seen things in such great shape.
Cool. Do we have hand comms with each other?
I think we said yeah. I think we were saying yes.
Okay, because seeing the power, like I'd like to let these dudes know, only because like they specifically mentioned finding power source, like a hopper.
It's not a power source. I don't want to like it's this thing's on, like whatever this display is, and so you're seeing
It's
like,
on.
the benefits of it. The other thing you see is there's a body down here.
Oh gosh.
Cool.
What
So the-
kind of body is it?
About a 8-9 foot tall individual in one of those exoskeletons that you saw on the holographic display. You can see that there's not, you can't see a face because there's some sort of helmet, and they're just kind of slumped in the corner. And that's that.
Michelle will go over to the body and like she'll kind of look at it to see if there's obvious signs of damage. Like the other one had kind of its head area had been crushed in, so she's kind of looking at this one to see.
Pristine, in fact. The helmet, the exoskeleton, or the exosuit, excuse me, all of it. You don't see any major damage. Maybe a scrape or two at most, but nothing to suggest.
Michelle's gonna take she's gonna kind of hold her gun backwards and just sort of poke at like the foot of it. Like she wants to see if this thing is alive or dead, or just like
when you poke at the foot,
like,
the foot
sleep.
moves, and it's a heavy foot. It's a big foot. It's like size 20 or something like that. It moves and then flops back. Yeah, they're dead. I mean, it doesn't even flop. You could tell like it's extremely cold down here. So you're pretty certain that they're dead.
Oh, okay, it's safe. And she looks back to Krish.
Chris is getting on hand comms and calling for Dr. Morgan. and saying,
Okay, she'll come down.
There's another body down here. There was one, the same one we saw on the ship, but this one is not fucked up.
We'll say she lingered in the room with the two of you, and so she'll climb down. And she'll
Dr.
take a look
Morgan,
at it.
can you take maybe the lower extremities, and I'll take the upper and see if perhaps we see any wound marks or anything perhaps similar to what just happened with Scooter?
Of course. You can roll an observation, and you can take like a +2 for her helping.
+2. 3 successes.
You don't
Nice.
notice any signs of injury. Like I said, the exosuit seems to be intact. As you're perusing legs, arms, torsos, whatever, all of it seems to be intact. The helmet seems to be intact. And as you're moving around the helmet, Michelle, you hit you happen to your hand just happens to click something, and you see bzzz, the face, this face guard that had been covering the face suddenly pulls back, and you see staring at you is a white face, like white, not Caucasian white, like really super white. You can see these dark, these dark circles underneath the eyes. The eyes are kind of closed. You can see the eyelids are down. There's no, you don't see any semblance of like an eyebrow or facial hair or anything like that. It's a humanoid-looking face. The features a little bit more pronounced, stronger brow, not unlike some of the visages that you've seen carved in stone, but obviously this one's fleshy and real. It seems to be inert. It's not moving, but unlike anything else, something about this exoskeleton has kind of kept it from decomposing, perhaps.
Dr. Morgan, we must get pictures of this. So well preserved.
She's doing it.
And
Takes a selfie with it.
And Michelle will see if she can find, after the pictures are taken, see if she can find an area, maybe of the arm or somewhere to get sort of like a little sample, to try to like run DNA.
A sample of what? Like it's in an exosuit. So like when I say that, it's literally a mechanical / fabric oriented suit. So if you wanted to try to extract it from the suit, that's like a whole thing. But you probably could figure it out with the 3 successes you got if you wanted to.
Yeah. Like she would definitely want to try to get a sample of skin or something. Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to take like 20 minutes or so to sort of fully deconstruct the suit. That's fine.
Yeah, Kersha, can you give me a hand?
Yep.
Okay.
Tell me what
So
you
you guys-
need to do.
So you guys are taking a full turn to break down the suit. The guys, meanwhile, what have you guys been up to?
I went to the elevator,
Okay.
starting eyeballing it, figuring out how we're going to climb down.
Okay. So if you want to roll heavy machinery, that could be a way to do this.
Wait, so
Absolutely.
just a quick question. Why are we climbing down?
Because it doesn't go up.
How'd you do on the heavy machinery?
I'm screaming with 5 successes.
Yeah. Yeah, like that one room that they're in would have been a fairly good room to like hunker down in if you wanted to clear stress. But at this point, like maybe what happens is you try to pry the doors open because they don't open automatically, and as you do, you realize you almost fall, and like maybe Skeeter and
It's like a
Jack
little
grab you,
vacuum. Almost
yeah, and
sucks
you
me
nearly
Holy shit.
fall all the way down. And that's maybe how he's justified the scream. But what you see is it's an elevator shaft. Like you've seen these before. It's bigger, but you don't see a car. You don't see a lift. You don't see it anywhere. It might be somewhere else. You don't see it. You're not wrong, Scooter. It doesn't go up. Like the pup came in through. Like you guys have the pup data, and so the pup came in through the shuttle launch tube that you guys came down, since you have that on the pup display. And then you have all these different 5 chambers, and so like it does go down, but it doesn't go up. You don't see this. There's not an exterior exit for this, but you do see a chute that goes down. There's a panel or two like on the wall by the hall, like that you've seen similar kinds of like gel covered interactions. It doesn't seem like any of these are currently powered, but you see that there. You could climb down, try to figure out a way to power this thing and see if you can call the lift, stuff like that. But that would probably be the 2 choices.
Yeah, I'll lean in just ever so carefully with my flashlight. How far down is down?
Your flashlight probably eventually fades, but you do see maybe 100 or maybe 100 to 200 feet below. It's hard to tell for sure. You do see like there's another door, like where the lift might let out on the next level.
It's a long ways down for a bunch of people without rope.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Suggestions?
Well, if we can't make it down here because we don't have any rope, and the sides are too treacherous to climb down, obviously, we should try and find some sort of way to climb down. Or,
I'm good with that.
or
Yeah.
we try and find a new way to open this door, but as Skeeta said, that's probably a last resort.
Yeah. I mean, if we really want to go down, there was that waste chute.
That's what I was thinking.
Mr. Girl looks around and he says, I'm sure that the other team will find something as they're responding perfectly well to reverse psychology. And he smiles.
I don't think you reverse psychology anything. They didn't want to go, so you said go, and they said no.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly.
I think that's just regular psychology. I don't know. I didn't take leadership classes. Anyway.
Is that what they teach you in your fancy leadership classes?
Double reverse psychology.
That is exactly why I don't ever want a job like yours.
We'll see if they find something useful for us.
A motivation is not more complicated than I don't like Jack girls. That's really as complicated as it is.
Do you guys radio over to them what you found and what you're doing? Are they aware as Jack and Scooter and Skeeter?
I would think so. I think so.
Okay,
Well,
so as you're
Grace
having
was, anyway.
Yeah. As you're having that reverse psychology nonsense, like you hear it, like it comes on, and like they found another body intact, kind of comes through.
I'll chime in. You find a body, but is there a way out? Where that?
But there might be because there's power down here. There's no power anywhere else, but there's power down here.
I mean,
just come down here. I can't do shit without power without you guys.
Okay. So I'll switch my comms off. I'm just thinking, if they went the direction and that direction's where the dead body is, it's a high chance that's the wrong direction.
Probably died of natural causes. If anything, if
Nothing's dying
we
of
learned
natural
anything
causes
in
down
this
here.
dungeon, it's that everything is fine.
Everything's great. Well, I mean, all else fails. If they got juice down there, maybe we can get a terminal or something, find some way to power the elevator, take the elevator down.
That's honestly matter.
Fair
what
enough.
I was thinking was that the elevator can be powered by power here.
What do you guys think? You head over there, see if we can get juice to this elevator, or we start ripping the walls up with the tools we don't have to pull out power cables from the walls and use that as a rope to climb down.
Seeing as how we don't have tools, I think that's probably not going to work.
I think you might be right there.
Probably rendezvous with the rest of the team.
Mr. Girl, just a personal question.
Yes.
So, the doc, I'm not saying anything bad against the doc. We've had our differences, but genuinely, I think she's all right. Doesn't it rub you 3 times the wrong way having to go back to where she said she wasn't leaving after you told her to leave?
No.
Okay. Bigger man than I am. I would have died up here rather than going back down if I was in them shoes.
Jack's really earning his Employee of the Year award today.
Yeah. That's all right.
You see, you are a straight shooter. When dealing with you, should be honest.
Oh.
You and your brother both.
For the most
Fair
part,
enough.
man, I want to do my job. I want to get paid. I don't
Yeah.
want to die.
I don't want to die either, so we all three share that in common. Some of us do
should
want
come
to
up
die,
with,
they
like,
just
a-
don't know it.
Yeah, we should come up with like a secret team don't want to die handshake or something.
There's no handshake needed. All we need to do is simply look at one
Wait,
another. And know we don't wanna
DWD?
die.
Dude,
DWD.
dude.
What is
DWD.
Don't want to DWD. Don't want to die. It got to be DWD, not. Wait, what did you say again?
It's a dude. DWD, just a dude.
Dude. Team dude.
Dude,
Yes, 2 U's, dude. W, yes.
right? Double.
All right, let's get
D.
going.
Yeah, all right, let's get in there. Get the power. Oh, man.
This is great. Head
Okay.
back over.
By the time you get over there, they have managed to de-suit this body. And when you peek down to the hatch, you can see that there is the exoskeleton, which kind of had the breastplate kind of comes forward. The back, there's a back plate that comes forward, and you kind of drag the body out. The three of you, it's heavy. It's a 10-foot tall, like 500-pound man or woman. You're not sure. You're just pulling them out. And you can see they have basic, some sort of under mesh that they wear as well to sort of fit them into the suit. And you're able to do whatever you want. They're all they're semi-frozen through, but they're not like an ice cube. You can tell that this suit has some sort of insulation or something like that. But that's what the guys you see when you peek down to the hatch. This hatch, again, it's just an auxiliary space underneath the pen. There's no doors. Doesn't seem to go anywhere else. Nothing like that. If you're thinking about power, the one thing, she played the flute and interacted with the interface. So there's that.
Shit. We got 2 flutes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Let me get one of them.
I don't have it, but when we meet up, we can make sure that we...
Here, we're busy with what we're doing here. And so Michelle will pass Scooter the flute that she just got.
Yes, what you found there, I think you might have hurried a bit too much. Were you able to fully study the cadaver before manipulating it?
It is
Just
within an
back down
exosuit,
slowly.
so we investigated it as best we could from outside the exosuit, and now we're taking a sample for further
Yeah.
study. And she's like you're kind of behind, but she's not stopping what she's doing to attend to this conversation. She and Krish are cutting, and Dr. Morgan is there, and we're kind of doing everything we need to do to kind of
Yes.
get the sample out.
If I were you, I would not do any sort of exploratory surgery in order to find out what makes them tick. That would be a very bad idea.
And Michelle
It could ruin the sample.
just sort of looks at Dr. Morgan a bit and just kind of goes back to what she's doing. And she stopped what she was doing to give.
She'll grin at you and she'll be like, don't worry. From everything I've heard from Mr. York, he's a fool. So let's just continue to do our work.
And Michelle,
Fully
she's
Snickers.
facing away and she just gets a very large grin on her face. And she goes back to doing what she's doing.
Fully
But she did
laugh.
pass the flute to Scooter.
Thank you. Running out of that tense situation real fast. Heading back to the elevator.
Okay, guys, I want to draw your attention again to the fact that many of you have really high stress right now. And you've found a room that you could potentially hide out in.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to
And
save
get
us,
your-
Jeff.
I'm just saying because
Yeah,
it's
you've got 8 stress, Chuck. That's a
you
stress.
screamed again. Technically, I probably should have had you fall down the elevator shaft. So it's if you go and you ask for a check, you're gonna you're more than likely you're gonna panic again. So I do think at a certain point it's just strange credulity
Let's
not
just
to
take a second, take a break. If
All
anything,
right,
maybe
all
I just
right.
when he's got his back turned, I just inject him.
Oh no, surprise drugs.
I'm gonna drug my brother with some nap relief.
You were so prepared with all the nap relief. It's
I
so
bought
good.
so much nap relief.
So good. You're thinking with that.
Better mission security through drugs. This is a trick I learned in prison. You cope with drugs. Sorry.
Does that mean I'm de-stressed?
I think once we're finished here, we can probably just head back to that room and just like hunker down for a bit? Is that reasonable?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like why you're in this hatch or why you're in this like small little archive, like someone just closed the double doors and like point a gun at it. And then like that's a secured area and you can take an hour and just decompress. Everyone clears your stress, clear your panic. And then like if you wanted to poke around with the body, you can poke around with the body. So like the mechanics are there to get you guys to do it. I just don't. I think we're forgetting them, or we're just not engaging with them. But
cool. So in that case, I had totally forgotten them. I would love to be the one who sits by the door and secures and let other people who are better at this handle the body.
Just lean up against one of the consoles, get your gun out, leaning on your knee. It's pointing right at the door, and just chill for a little bit.
That sounds like a very Krish thing to do.
Something to eat, something to drink.
And on the way to the door, she's actually gonna like take Doc. She's gonna like tap Doc Morgan on the shoulder.
And she's like holding up one of the hands and just sort of measuring like the spread of it, the fingers and everything. Can I help you?
I just want to say thanks for before.
For
before. All right, bye.
Okay. She looks confused, like she doesn't understand. Okay. As you walk away, and she goes back to like putting the hand up to her face to see how big it is, like using her face as scale. And it's just enormous. Like, my goodness.
And like passing by, she'll whisper to Skitty, she's like, I gotta find out what her love language is.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, yeah. I'm taking a rest, but I'm also doped up on napper leave right now, so I'll go help.
Okay.
Doc.
So
while I rest.
If you spend the hour, you're just relaxing, maybe you're poking. If you're low on stress, you can go ahead and clear your stress at this point. At no point does anything come knocking on the door and the ceiling doesn't cave in or anything like that. It does seem like you are relatively safe in this little alcove, it's not even that small. It's pretty big for you guys. And in that time, at a certain point, the display, the holographic display of the systems and the plants and stuff, that kind of fades out at a certain point. You watch like the power eventually deplete, or it goes off, or whatever it might be.
Toot the flute again. Power back up so we got some light.
And so, Michelle, if you want to do it again, if you want to play the exact same way you played before, it'll load back up. It'll flicker on. You can tell like it's straining, but it'll come back on, and you'll see kind of the same display as before.
And just start touching things again and kind of seeing what different we can do with, so playing the flute in here seems to power this up in this room. So would we need someone to then look over to the elevator and see if it also kind of generated some power there? Like if it extended the power, kind of revved everything up beyond this area?
They were already outside when you had this room powered up and they didn't see anything out there. So.
Okay.
I was thinking we take the flute over to the elevator and just by some lucky chance, maybe it's get close and play it in the elevator, get some juice.
Proximity might. Okay. So we've kind of taken all of our measurements and samples and everything that we needed to do kind of during that time with this, figure here, and, kind of Doc has signed off on all that. So then we'll kind of move over toward the elevator and then I'll try again with the flute.
Okay. Is everyone together?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll wits test. You can take it the +1 again since you were... Actually, you can take a +2 this time because you've done this before. So I'll give you another bonus from having done this before.
Nice.
You should have cleared your stress. Clear your stress.
Oh, yeah. So okay.
Just re-roll it. Just re-roll it because you could have pushed this. Just re-roll it.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, so
one success.
you try to play the same kind of combo as before. That doesn't quite work. You change it very slightly, and you suddenly see the panels on the walls outside of the elevator light up, and you can see now coursing into the host. There's all sorts of this light that is now starting to appear behind that kind of gelatin covering at this point. And you can see there's little symbols, there's little imagery, little glyphs and stuff that are showing beneath it.
And what are the chances this thing just works at the big bay doors?
I think we have to be in each place, so we probably need to push one of these. And so Michelle will reach out and just sort of push, thinking that it operates sort of like an elevator. So there's like a glyph that comes up and she like pushes it.
Okay, yeah, you push it and you hear a thrum somewhere in the shaft. And after about 20 seconds, you see whoosh, this. It's not like a case. It's just like a floor, a platform comes up. Whoosh, right up to the doors that Scooter has ripped open. And you can see that there is this octagonal platform, and it's got all these, it's got the same kind of, materials that you've seen elsewhere, guardrails and such, but otherwise this lift is here. It's covered in some frost and stuff, but you don't see any of those like thick cables that you've seen elsewhere. But yeah, it's standing there.
We have success. We have
Nice.
found
Very
how
success.
this works.
I'd like to re-point out what Skeeter just said. If we play this in the room and it shows the stars, plays this at the elevator and it summons the elevator, why don't we just go try the front door? That's the bay doors where they collapsed.
So there were, I think the three guys who went and checked it out.
They were initially open, but at
closed.
some point,
But you would recall that there were like thick cables of ice that were like crisscrossing over top of it. Like that's what you would recall.
I think going down the elevator's probably the...
Climbed quite a ways up to get in here, so it's only fair maybe we take the elevator down to the ground floor.
I'm game.
Just
Do it.
head count, making sure that everybody's on the elevator.
6.
Got everybody. So
Is
we're inside
everyone
the
on
elevator. Yep.
Krish, Jack.
Yep.
Okay. So what do? You see in the inside, there's another one of the similar panels on the opposite side, just like there was in the elevator itself in the hall. You hit the button, and you descend. You see as you're doing so, like each couple of feet, like whatever. We're not sure, Scooter especially, because I think this is your specialty is like machinery. Like you're not sure exactly the propulsion mechanism that's happening here because you don't see any like gears, you don't see any tracks in the walls, but you do see like this bit of light that emerges behind that gel-coated interior of the shaft as the platform glides down it. And then as it moves like that 100 feet or so to the next tier, it comes to a stop. And then you see on the panel, there is another set of doors, just like the lifts above. You see there's an interior panel that has one button that you think at this point means down, one button that you presume means up. And you would know from the pup data that there are 2 other levels.
Okay. Let's hit the down button some more.
Does the pup data give any even sign of an exit on any of the other floors?
So the only interior or exterior access that you were able to get from the data was the shuttle, which is blocked. However, you know from having discovered the chute, the bioengineered chute, and from that little archive room that you were just in, that there were places that apparently that pup missed because it was barricaded or closed or something like that. So it's possible there could be things that the pup didn't pick up.
So, do we have any idea, like, how high the mouth was from the ground? Like, or is that, like, too
So we
far?
had to
Like,
climb.
I think it was like 30, I think I said 30 feet, 30 meters. I can't remember if it was meters or feet I said, but something around around that length.
Yeah, because we had
And
to do
then-
the whole thing to get up it.
And then you descended as you came down the shuttle chute So it was like a ramp that would like kind of shoot the shuttle out and get it started. And you came down that a ways. So, and that probably was another like 50 feet down. And then now another 100 feet down. You would guess you're maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 100 to 200 feet below the surface.
We're going to continue with how far we went up in order to get in, and then how far we came down to get to the first actual floor. I don't know if we'll find a way out.
I mean, won't know until we put eyes on it.
Exactly.
So we're
Start stepping off to look around.
Got her gun out and like loading it because nothing having jumped out at us for this long is unnerving her.
Only one thing has jumped out at you guys inside of this place. Only one time have you been attacked in this place. This one point, the fewest amount of any place you've explored yet on this moon. This has been the safest exploration point.
I listen, intellectually, my toy knows that.
Okay. So are we going out?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
We're leaving the elevator.
Chris, you leading the way?
Yes.
Okay. Gun drawn, flashlight out. You come out, and let me go ahead and move you all at this point. At long last, to level 2.
Woohoo!
We did it.
So, as you pop off the elevator, you look, we'll say north of you. We're just going to use map directions. North of you, south of you. Like you're kind of in this central little spot, and you can see that the ceiling here is a little lower. It's maybe 20 feet or so. But very quickly to the north of you and very quickly to the south of you, as you kind of peek to one end and peek to the other, you see the chamber just become massively tall. And like now, like you went down like 100 feet from one floor to the next. And when you look around, you can see what looks like various rows and rows and rows of sarcophagi. They look like they have this old kind of almost Gothic-like look to them. But you can tell that they seem to be chambers. Like you're not sure if it's like a cryo chamber. You're not sure if it's a stasis chamber or something like that. But you see to the north of you and to the south of you, and 100 feet tall. So they're about, in length, they're maybe about 50 to 100 feet in length, each shelf, and then about 100 feet tall. And each row is maybe 10 feet or so. So there's like maybe 10 rows high, and you can see 4 or 5 rows in width. And so there have to be like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these little sarcophagi chambers all throughout. And just like other places, you've seen this little bit, there's a little bit of this touch of energy kind of passing through here. But very quickly after you get off the elevator, you can see the elevator begins to deplete. But that is what you see as you just sort of peek from this little hub in the center, north and south.
There's so many.
That's a lot.
So Michelle kind of keeps moving forward and just looking around to just see just how far all of this kind of extends.
Krisha reaches out and grabs her hand so that our elbow or whatever does stop her from moving forward.
I wouldn't wander too far.
No.
We could get in trouble.
Stay as a group. This is...
Yeah, I mean, we gotta go out and we gotta look around.
Mm-hmm.
Find an exit. Well, let's go out and look around.
Yeah, buddy system, bare minimum.
Okay. Do you go to the north or to the south?
I'm going whichever direction Michelle started going. I'll just follow.
Yeah.
North.
There we go.
Okay. So the group kind of moves up north into this, the northern wing here. Again, it's an enormous space, but you do notice there's other light in here. And you realize that many of these like little sarcophagi-like pods, and when I say little, I'm being facetious, like they're quite big.
Yeah.
They actually have what looks like light. Not all of them, but some of them are actually lit up. Faint light the type of light you might see on a ship when you're in cryo sleep, and like there's some of the machinery, some of the lights, the monitoring lights are on, but not like the full thing is on. You would think some of these pods might still be functional. And like some of them are very, very high up. You don't see any on the bottom row. The bottom row is probably where you see the most like frost damage, and you can see some of these sarcophagi have been like ripped off of their slots. Some of the doors have been ripped off. Others, you can see like there's like this cable of ice that's wrapped around it and just squeezed, not unlike the way the shuttle in the hangar bay looked as well. And that's what you see when you first come in. Anybody who wants to give me an observation test as you look around. Okay. So
you just can't.
It's maybe it's
anything.
In another month, I'll succeed at one of my main roles.
Okay.
Good gosh.
I got successes from Jack and Michelle and Krish got 4 successes. Okay. So first thing I'll tell you is that with 1 success, I know, Jack, you've been looking for a way out. And you do notice that in the northern room, on the western side of that room, similar to what you saw in the level above, there is a set of doors that seem to be frosted over. And you would guess once more it was probably a room the pup was incapable of accessing. Krish, you would be able to see maybe on the second level where some of the lights are, that you see an actual operational sarcophagi. Like you see one of these cryopods, and you see that same white face that you saw when you pulled the body out of the exosuit, except this time you see it in a cryopod. And although it's definitely different tech, you're pretty sure that's in stasis. And it looks, unlike some of these other places, to actually be under power. So it might actually still be functioning. There might be a living one of these creatures in one of these pods.
Michelle's eyes get really big at that.
Krish sees that. Krish sees that
sorry.
with her 4 successes.
That's right, sorry.
Krish does say out loud, "Doc, come and see this." And she is meaning Doc Martin, but Michelle should absolutely think she's talking to her. And she just says, "Doc, you gotta see this."
And so Michelle would want to, like, she's just going to kind of take this in, and they might still be alive here. And she wants to, Mr. Garrett, you're good at computer stuff. And so she wants to see if there's like a panel by the cryopod.
You got to climb up. It's like a good 20 or 30 feet up. It's not in the bottom row. All the bottom row runs are either are broken. Like it's just, Chris just happened to see it, like the perfect corner of her eye. She looks up, she sees the face, and then you can kind of, but you'd have to climb up. There's no clear like ladder up. There are some panels and stuff on the walls and consoles and things. There might be a mechanism to bring stuff down, but you wouldn't know how to activate that. You know, the flute is activating a lot of systems while you're near a panel, but like there might be some sort of mechanism for getting that down, but you don't see it immediately.
Michelle, we just got here. We need to see what else is in the room before we try and set whatever the fuck that is free.
This is a find.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but
just
give it like 10 minutes before you set it
That's
free.
That's true. We'll look around the rest of the room. Because she was already like trying to like.
I know. I think Chris saw that.
No, you're right. Let's look at what else is here. Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And she'll follow you because you have the light source, so you do kind of dictate what Michelle can and can't do. Because when you take the light source out, she kind of has to follow you.
Mm-hmm. We would hate to bring him out of this stasis in an unsafe way. I mean, if we didn't do it, we could lose this opportunity. Like if we did it too hastily.
Are there protocols for, like, company protocols for making contact with other non-human sentient life forms there, Mr. Geralt?
Gives a shit. I think we're past all that.
We're making up the protocols.
Well,
It's up to you, Jack.
normally we would have a synth of a bit of different make than a working Joe try and communicate with them. If we could, for instance, have them review archival footage, take a look at the symbols, maybe they can form some ideas on what their language is, and then we would be able to communicate. If we woke them up right now, I doubt we would be able to do anything different than what we did in the ancient days when we'd come across another country that we don't know anything about their language. I don't think it would end well.
I'm just curious. That's fine.
Michelle's followed wherever Krish went with the light.
Krish is doing a perimeter.
So if you do like a full sweep, is that the idea? Just do a big full sweep. So the south side is very much a symmetrical mirror of the north side. And so you see the same set of rows, the same condition largely is that the bottom row, the bottom 2 rows or so, are where it seems to be the most damage. The ones up, some of them are very dark, a scattered bit of light here or there. And very symmetrically, you, Jack, would also notice that towards the like, we'll call it the southeast, much like the north side, there seems to be another one of these blocked off doors. And so if you think of like a capital I of the room, and then like on the sides, the sides on either side, you think there's like rooms in there. Michelle, give me a wits test.
I believe there's chambers in that direction.
Yeah, so you basically know that there are 2 unmapped by the pup, unmapped rooms that are like kind of with these frozen shut doors, not unlike what you saw before.
Sorry, I was getting weird pop-up. 1 success.
Okay. The one specifically in the southeast, Michelle, as like Jack points it out, you remember climbing through a vent, and you remember getting all the way over to the vent, and that there is this huge vertical chute that seemed to go all the way up. Like you can even see vaguely light up top. You think that this room opens up onto that shaft. Because it just seems, in terms of the distance from this, the distance from that, all kind of just makes sense.
So this connects up to, remember when I climbed up and went through? It just was a drop off, and I think this is where it all connected to. And she sort of tries to look up at that for like a function for that.
You would need to go in. You would need to go inside to be able to understand what the hell it is. But like you think just layout wise.
So she's gonna try to see what she can do to investigate further.
Okay. I mean, it's got these doors. They're closed doors again. You could try to open them up. You could try to, if you wanted to try to play the flute, you could try to just bust them open. Like you also could someone could just try to do
flute.
a string.
Scooter.
You got it.
You got the flute?
I give the flute back.
Okay. You guys got 2 of them. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
We got 2. Someone said we don't. Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
Give me a wits test. And again, you can take the bonuses because you've done it before, but you got your 2 successes, so you're good.
2.
You see the panel light up on this heavy like arched door with like the seam down the middle, and you definitely see like some kind of interface. Again, weird glyphs and symbols start to glow from behind the gelatin sheath.
And
okay,
push symbols.
So when it opens up, you can see inside there is it basically looks like another kind of semi-octagonal platform within this square chamber. and it almost takes up the entirety of the chamber, except you see in these little nooks along the wall, there are various control mechanisms and things like that. In the center of this octagonal platform, which is kind of tiered again, so you see like there's a couple steps up to what looks to be some kind of seat, some sort of chamber. It's like almost like reclined back. And then you can see that over top of it, there looks to be some kind of like, I mean, for lack of a better term, like a telescope. And Scooter, if you wanted to, give me a heavy machinery.
You, Doc, or am I doing this?
Whoever's good at engineering.
I think you got the tech skill for this.
I'm good at it. I just 2.
Okay. You see, Scooter, in this room, sort of similar mechanisms along the wall that you saw in the lift. So you kind of see that same gelatin, you see that same like kind of weird sensor on the edge. You think that this might go up. It's like some kind of maybe periscope-like thing with a telescope or something like that.
All right. I'll relate like it's that extends like it's collapsible.
So if you push the button, can you like look through it?
I mean, maybe that's what it's used for, but we can certainly try.
And so we're kind of doing the flute thing and seeing if we can like set it.
What are you trying to do?
Because it looks like it can go up, and then we'd be able to like look through it.
The platform, much like the lift that you just came down, like this whole room has the very same design. Like it has the same kind of octagonal, and sitting on top of it is this telescopic like contraption. And you can kind of like you think it's possible this thing could go up, like this whole platform. And with what Michelle knows, when you look up, Michelle, you realize there's the shaft. It's all the way above there.
Scooter, you want to do a test ride up and see what we can see when we get up here?
Let's make it happen.
So she kind of plays the flute and pushes the button.
I'm on the platform. Okay. Well, the whole thing's a platform, yeah.
Is everybody in, or is it just the two of you that are inside?
Come on, everybody. Let's make mistakes as a group.
Yeah, Chris is definitely
everybody get on in. So we're all in.
Jack, are you in?
He hesitates. I don't know if it's a good idea for all in. What if you can't get down? Don't you need someone to bring it back down?
Well,
we've got the flute.
And if it goes up to where we were before, Michelle was up there. We just climb down out the pyramid and come back around.
I have a bad feeling about this. And he steps inside.
Okay. All of you are in. You're sitting. There's a center of this tier. There's that huge telescope. And you go through and you play the flute. You don't have to roll. It's fine. You kind of get it at this point. Like there's a certain kind of key that you have to be in. And you feel much like when you were on that central lift, that like this hum, and then all of you suddenly feel yourselves beginning to lift and lift and lift and lift and lift. At a certain point, you pass by that vent, Michelle, that you had crawled through. You keep going, you keep going, and keep going. And about 20 feet from what you think is light coming down, you realize there's a sheet of ice covering the top. And as this thing continues to go, the lift crashes from the underside into that sheath of ice as if you're riding an elevator and crashing against the bottom of an icy lake. And we'll go ahead and we'll stop there and we'll see what happens. But hey, there's light somewhere. You're close.
So which game we playing next?
The exit is right on the other side of the ice. The exit is right there.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're crashing into it. So you're either going to survive.
I'm such a disappointed right there.
It's
All
fine.
right.
We got this. I'll just use my cutting torch and cut a hole for it real quick.
That's
It's fine. You're
stressful.
full health. You'll be fine. You're full
That's
health.
stressful,
All
man.
good. All good.
Dropping that torch.
Everybody but Scooter will be dead because Scooter will just resilience it all.
That's true. That's
Actually,
right.
actually,
Do you have it too, Chris? Do you have resilience too?
no, I have toughness, which is more health.
The good news is our telescope that's going to break some of it. We'll do some rolls and stuff, and we'll see if
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
happens. It's fine. Okay.
I'll
But
just
hey,
use
found a way out.
Scooter as a shield. It's fine.
Hey. It'll work. All right.
All right. So let's go ahead and do some plugs and we'll get on out of here. We're going to start. Chuck, go ahead and tell us about what's going on with Defenders of Cobalt.
Yeah. Wednesdays, we're doing Night Below, our Dungeon Crawl Classics campaign. Fridays, we're doing our Pathfinder campaign. I finally was able to reveal the name of it to the party because they hadn't gotten far enough in the story. But the campaign is called The Vampire of Time and Memory. It's a lot of time stuff and waking
Nice.
up in strange places. And that's it for the week.
Awesome. Maitre, where can we find you on the internet?
I am Multiplace Games on YouTube, where I make multi-system or system agnostic content that centers the GM and player experience that you should check out if you want to check that kind of thing out.
Fantastic. Links for everyone's stuff is in the chat if you're watching this right now. If you're listening to this or watching this later, check the notes for the show and you'll find links to everyone's stuff. And then Adam, what's going on with Cannon Otter?
Well, we just received the proof of Teenage Odyssey. That's correct. We got one and had a mistake in it, so we had to correct it. So we waited for another proof, and now we sent out surveys. So if you did back it, please check your email so you can fill out those surveys. And once we have enough of the surveys completed, then we will send out the copies that you all backed. So after a point in time, we're currently thinking around a month, but we're not too sure. Something could come up. Then we will release it to the public for sale. But we wanted to give the backers some time with it since they believed in us from the beginning.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, come join our Discord if you want to talk about it. Yeah, we'd love to have you.
Awesome. Very exciting, man. Okay, for us, next game, Thursday, Simbaroom. Friday, we have a special Delta Green session. It's usually our Warhammer 40K week, but Aaron can't make it, so we're going to do Delta Green instead. So come check us out. And then Saturday, we have Call of Cthulhu, and we're getting perilously close to the end of Mexico City. Not the end of the city. The city's fine. It's just their time in Mexico City. So we'll see. And next Monday, Friday Empire, we switch out Adam, bring in Joe, and we do more space shenanigans. But that's it for us. Let's go ahead and raid somebody. We're going to raid Happy Jack's RPG. They're playing Starscape, which is also a space game. So why don't we go ahead and just maintain that theme. Have a great issue night. Have a great issue week. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.